Hi, I'm Kristen Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? This is very exciting, you guys. We are in the sidebar part of Are You a Charlotte, which is catching up with friends. And here we have the incredible John Benjamin Hickey. Yay! Now, we are a little bit past his episode. I've been trying to get him on. Okay, he's a hot ticket, you guys.
I know. I didn't realize I was
He's busy. Yeah, you were much desired.
I'm trying to figure out what I was doing that I could be so unavailable, but here I am.
That's okay. Happily, it was important stuff. You told me at the premiere what you're doing, and I totally understand. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. But you're here now, and that's all that matters. So John is in the first season, which really surprised both of us.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought it was like later on in the run.
Absolutely. I would have probably said end of the second, maybe even the third season.
Which I think of as our best season, if we have to pick an overall season.
Barring my episode, of course.
Well, your episode, that's
season.
why I'm saying I would put it in the best, because it's such a good episode.
Yeah.
And it was written by Michael Patrick King, which you can completely tell.
Oh, God, yes.
John plays the Catholic guy. He has a real name. It's called Thomas John Andersen, which is kind of funny because he's John Benjamin Hickey.
3 names for 3 names.
And he's playing Michael Patrick King, basically, and his own episode. And he is called the Catholic guy. That's what we call him in the shorthand to the friends.
Yep.
And he's opposite Cynthia.
Yep.
And they are incredible. This episode was directed by Matthew Harrison. We don't have a ton of memories about him. We're really sorry. I always apologize if I don't remember the director.
I have vivid memories of MPK, not directing me, but just he's such a brilliant, extraordinary presence on set. And his writing was so great that I remember him, and of course have known him all these years after.
Right.
But yeah, I don't remember the director as much. I know. But that's not because he didn't direct a great episode.
Absolutely, because that episode...
A good director disappears a little bit.
This is a good point. And you also direct, so you know very well. You know very well. So tell us your memories and your thoughts about the new, it was a relatively new show.
Yeah. Is this a G-rated program?
No, you can say anything you want.
Well, what I vividly remember is being on top of Cynthia, being in the throes of passion and having orgasm or fake orgasm after orgasm, and getting up and showering. And a lot of people have seen it in syndication, and all that stuff's out. But in the DVD or box set or whatever you call it these days, you see all of those sex scenes. So what I remember most vividly is being in bed in flagrante with Cynthia Nixon. Thank goodness I had known her. We had done a play together, which is the way you get very intimate very quickly, is by being on stage together. And we had such a great time doing this play and such a great rapport and such great trust that we immediately threw ourselves into it. And this was before Sex and the City was Sex and the City. So going to that set and having to do such a huge sex scene was really nerve-wracking. So that's my biggest memory, is just being on top of Cynthia. And then the casual, after an hour or two, it becomes so casual. Like, what are you going to have for lunch? I think I'm going to have that,
Totally.
We're both naked. And I mean, we've talked about cock socks and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I guess I remember the cock sock as well.
There you go. Very memorable. I mean, the thing about Cynthia, too, which is a theme in every guy that I've ever spoken to who was opposite hers, that she has no real fear or self-consciousness about it.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. But listen, this is all of your reputations precede you when actors go on your show. And this was true how many years ago? 25 years ago?
27 or 6.
Unbelievable. And now you get a job on that show and you're excited to go there because of the way you guys treat people. It's guesting on a show, even if you're in the first season or now, is like being forced to go to somebody else's office Christmas party. There might be a little bit of a feeling of nobody really understands why you're there, but you're there. And so it's very important for the top of the call sheet to treat people, this very, very well, to make people feel comfortable. It's one of the biggest parts of the job. And this was a show that did that even then. And, Cynthia was amazing that way because she's so free. She's such a great actress and so unintimidated and unintimidating.
Absolutely. I mean, It's funny because sometimes I would be so worried if she had one of these scenes because I was like, she's not going to take care of herself. And, not with you because you're a seasoned pro, but like sometimes people would just grab her in all crazy ways and no one would say like, stop. And I think like, I should go. And just be like, delicate.
Yeah.
But she didn't care. And that's so freeing when you're watching her.
Yeah. It really, she's really fearless. We went on to do another series together called The Big C.
Yes.
And had so many sex scenes. Like, I think maybe as many sex scenes as Cynthia has played over the years, I might be at the top of the list of just the quantity.
I love it.
And I hope the quality too.
I'm sure.
But we did a lot together. And oh my God, by the end of our run on The Big C together, we were like,
amazing.
We were like an old married couple.
I know, but I love that because you're so perfectly matched.
Yeah.
You are so complex as an actor, which I think you often like are more into your directing now and whatever. But to me, whenever I watch you on film, you're so complicated. And she also has so many layers.
Yeah.
And she kind of does it so effortlessly, which you as well, because you've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to watch. I could see why they would cast you again opposite each other. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So way back, take yourself way back. Do you remember, like, what were you doing? You'd done this play with Cynthia. You were on Broadway. You were doing...
Yep. I want to say, I did a play at Playwrights Horizons called On the Bum with Cynthia, which is one of the great experiences of both of our lives. I think she would say the same. It's just an amazing group of actors, a very large cast, and all of off-Broadway's finest. Campbell Scott and... just incredible people. And Cynthia and I really had a great bond. I do remember that her mother sent me a note. And Cynthia was and if her mom liked an actor she was playing opposite, you felt rose
good.
in the ranks. You rose in her eyes. So I'm still very proud of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I knew going in that I was going to be well taken care of. I don't remember. I don't think I auditioned for the part. I think I was offered the part.
Because you're so perfect.
Yeah, which was very rare back then. I auditioned for everything and happily would audition again if it was a role like, what's his name? Paul Thomas Andersen?
Yeah,
no, that's
close.
the director.
Thomas John Andersen.
But I don't remember auditioning for it.
But would that have been Sarah Jessica's relationship with you?
Maybe. Yes, we were close back then, but we got really close maybe in seasons 3, 4, and 5. We got closer as friends then. In the beginning, I don't think we were quite that close. We knew each other, but not that well.
Right.
To be completely honest, I don't know. I think
it was because you were so perfect for that part.
I guess. But there's a fear in that because if you haven't auditioned, you're going in and you're thinking, I hope they think they've made the right decision. Right. And I hope I don't show up and they're like, oh, that's not what we wanted. Because if you have auditioned, then they've seen what you're
bringing.
Yeah, what you're bringing.
Totally.
So I went in cold. And when you're having to do nude scenes, you want to be very warm. You want to be warm. But I warmed up pretty quickly. And I think it was one day. Maybe
You're kidding.
Yeah. Well, maybe
oh my
it
God.
was 2.
You're so tremendous. It's crazy to think you would have done that in one day.
Yeah.
Because you're so mad. You get so angry when she tries to tell you not to shower.
Yes. And I
have
that
rage.
Complete Catholic meltdown. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry that you think I'm not going to go to hell for having sex. Yeah.
Yeah, that fixes it. You're like, that fixes it right away.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
so good.
And I vividly remember MPK and the wonderful director saying, go further. Because, I was a theater actor and I was like, oh boy, that was probably really over the top. And Michael was like, no, get madder, go further, really lose your shit on her. And loving it and having a ball. And at that point we had simulated sex and orgasm so many times together that we could do anything.
Absolutely. So for me, when I think back on the first season, this is what's been so interesting to rewatch it. First of all, I thought the first season that we weren't together. When I watch it back, I'm like, all the pieces are there. We might not have been completely structurally together, the writing, but like the acting and everything is so great, so much better than I remember. But we definitely did the whole first season without anything airing, right? Which is kind of wonderful in a way because you're just being creative without any outside input, but also scary, kind of like not auditioning for a part.
Right.
Because you have no idea how people are going to respond.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember having a lot of anxiety about that and talking to each other like, are people going to freak out? Which some people did, right?
Yeah.
And then it went well and it got bigger and bigger. Like third season is when I consider us to have gotten kind of really popular. That's what I felt at least.
Yeah.
But do you remember like what was your feeling being on the show and then having people see it?
As you describe, the only way I can really articulate it is very niche. Like my family in Texas didn't have HBO. So, and I was probably relieved because there was so much sex going on that I probably had some relief in that. But I remember it being very blue, blue as in a little more than R-rated for the time, especially. Now it's like, but it felt way out in Queens.
Yes.
And I mean that in the metaphoric sense as well. It seemed like to be way over there. HBO was so the wild, wild west.
And it was.
Yeah. And I it's interesting because I'm good pals with Darren Star because my partner, Jeffrey Richmond, and he created this beautiful show called Uncoupled together. And I've spent time with Darren through the years. But he talks about that first season and he's very articulate about like none of us knew really what we had or what you guys had worked together before, of course.
Right.
And he and Sarah had never worked together.
Right.
And then Michael coming in and doing such an amazing job kind of helping the show explode. And Darren gives him such major props for that.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. But everybody to a person, I've never really talked to MPK about it, or like, wow, I wonder if this is ever going to catch more than just a specific population's imagination because it was really out there.
Yeah.
So that's basically my memory.
That's exactly what I felt.
It wasn't TV, baby. It was HBO.
Yeah.
And TV was a completely different thing. And now, of course, everything is kind of melded together. And Sex and the City, it was the pioneer of that.
Thank you. That's so nice.
It really was.
So tell me, when I saw you at the premiere, which was so nice to see you there at our crazy, crazy party that they threw for us.
It's insane. I've never seen more people in my life. And let me just say, too, that like I lived right down the street from where the party was. Right. So we threw on a pair of jeans. We're like, let's just go say hi. I mean, because Sex and the City and Just Like That have been such a part of my life, our lives, of course. Yeah. So long. I don't think of it as a big deal. This party was so fucking packed and so packed with young people.
I know.
Young people who were just so happy to be there.
They were so sweet.
It did my heart so good.
Me too.
This show means so much to so many people and not just us old folks.
Absolutely. And also this was the first time that they had thrown this type of an event for us. We used to, in the olden days, which I'm sure you came, have those huge parties with the PR and that bed in front of like Lincoln Center or whatever.
Right,
do you remember this?
Yep.
Insane level parties. But this was not a premiere exactly, so we didn't exactly know how to dress. We didn't really know what we were doing, and we didn't really know who they invited. And they kept talking about activations, which were still just like, what?
What is an activation? Will you tell me?
Thank you for not knowing. It has to do with social media.
Oh, boy.
And I don't totally understand it, but in that party was a Hot Fellas activation. And that's why those guys were there dressed as Hot Fellas. And
Mario's
I believe
Bakery.
Mario's Bakery and Just Like That. And maybe there was bread there. I don't know. I never saw any bread. But maybe there was bread. I'm not sure. But that was an activation. And then there was maybe another activation. I don't know.
Wow.
But like there were just a lot of people there.
Incredible.
And I mean, very cool people were there who later texted me on Instagram that they'd been there because I couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
We were in that corner and we were like trapped in that corner.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted a hot cross bun from one of those cute guys, you were
Someone
about 45 minutes for about 25 yards.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it was so nice to see you there.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
So great
it was amazing. And also
come.
you bring up, the bakery and you have such chemistry with such people who have been in my life, Mario and Evan. I mean, I've known Evan since, he made this massive, took New York by storm with his show Time Under Fire, which was about his sickness. And and he was just always been one of my favorite actors and favorite people. And Cantone, of course, I've known. Mario Cantone replaced Nathan Lane in Love, Valor, Compassion, which is the first Broadway play I did.
Wow.
And he and I were instant best buddies and
Amazing.
remains one of my favorite people on the planet. And how hard it must be to go to work with Mario every day because he's not funny. He doesn't know how to,
It's so painful. It's so painful. I mean, the one challenge is that Michael loves to give him like a lot of props, and that's not really Mario's thing.
No,
right?
no.
Mario's like, please let me sing.
Yeah.
I just want to sing,
exactly.
and I don't really want to do
Give me a
props.
microphone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Give me a microphone, not a loaf of bread. But he's growing and expanding.
Yeah, he is.
Every season.
Incredible because he's not. I mean, he's a great actor,
Right.
but he hasn't done a lot of television.
Right. It wasn't his thing when we hired him. He
Yeah.
was only supposed to do a few episodes, as he told us when he came on the podcast, which is also what I love. And it's amazing because as much as I know you, I don't even know all your connections.
Yeah.
I just know that you're part of the family.
Well, when you're on a show in New York and when it's as iconic a show as this New York show as this is, and there are very few that are, you really do attract. That's one of the great things about shooting in New York City, man, is you get Franny Sternhagen, Marion Seldes. You get the greatest character actors in New York.
So when John Benjamin Hickey, who plays Thomas John Andersen,
so
many names in Oh Come All Ye Faithful, that's the episode. Just to refresh everybody, it was maybe like 3-4 episodes. We recapped it ago. And it's the one where Carrie and Miranda go to a church because Carrie wants to see Big and his mother because she wants to hang out with him on Sunday. And he says, no, I go to church every Sunday with my mother, which she's just like, what? And so she wants to go. So they wear these huge hats because they're going to hide up in the balcony of a beautiful big church. I should know which one it is. And then he comes out and she's across the street in her joggers looking so cool with her cigarette. And his mom is played by this incredible woman, incredible actress and teacher named Marion Seldes, who was Hickey's teacher at Juilliard.
Yes, as she was so many, Kevin Kline, Patti LuPone, from group 1 to, I was group 18 to probably group 35, Marion was there, ushering us into our careers and our lives as actors. And there was no greater teacher, no greater actor, no greater person of the theater in the history of the 20th century than Marion.
Amazing.
Yeah,
and her presence. I mean, she doesn't have a lot to do in our episode, but just her presence standing there is so powerful.
Absolutely. It was a real coup. And you were saying earlier, she was so perfect as Big's mom because she's kind of a big person herself, big presence.
Yeah, intimidating and kind of aloof to where you can't read her. And it makes such perfect sense for his character that he has a mom like that he kind of caters to.
Yeah.
It's super interesting.
I did a production of The Crucible on Broadway.
Ooh,
and with this great actor.
I saw that.
It was, Laurel Linney, Liam Neeson, amazing production.
Yes.
And the great actor Brian Murray was in it, who was Marion's best friend. And Marion came to see the show and I said, oh God, I hope Marion likes it. And he said, well, if she doesn't, you're never going to know. I was like, what a great thing, because she's such a gracious, warm human being. She gives great backstage. She's not there to tear anybody down.
That's
she's
so
a,
nice.
she was the greatest, the greatest.
So you also said when I saw you at the party and I just looked at you. I didn't even say anything, I don't think. And you were like, I'm coming on the podcast. I was like, thank God. Because I'd just been waiting.
I'm
praying
so happy.
you'd come. And you said, I have so many memories of Cynthia, Michael, and I think you said Sarah too. So even though you weren't super close, do you remember those early days? Because she remembers nothing.
Yeah. I just remember how lucky I felt. She had done a play at Lincoln Center. And she, even though she doesn't remember anything, she remembers meeting me, which is terribly flattering, more than I do. She met me on the stairs of Lincoln Center. And I think it was, what year was the first season?
We filmed in 97. Didn't come on until 98.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So we were really good pals by then. I think I remember being very glad that my stuff was with Cynthia because I had become the kind of friend with Sarah at that point that I would have been, I think I would have been more intimidated by taking my clothes off in front of her.
That would be weird.
And she would too. I mean, as we both know, and I'm sure you've said many times, she's an incredibly shy, discreet person. That she is not Carrie Bradshaw.
No.
Which is a testament to her just brilliant acting chops.
Absolutely. And in my mind, just sidebar, because you know her so well, I believe that that's one of the things that makes Carrie so interesting.
Yeah.
Is Sarah's own differences from the character and that kind of internal conflict that comes, from that kind of friction, playing the character so long.
Yeah.
But also she just makes her so deep.
Yeah, so deep. so deep. She's very, all of you, it's like time has been so kind to those characters, and you guys have too.
Thanks.
Like it's like you see it in your shoulders. Everybody is just so relaxed, even when they're playing the most fraught moments on the show. There's such a relaxation watching, and the newcomers as well.
Oh, I know.
Are just absolutely. It's such a lovely family now. It's really great to see. But going back, I remember being glad it was Cynthia, not because I didn't want to work with you or with Sarah. I didn't know you.
Right.
And I knew Sarah in a way that would have been like, oh man, I don't want to have to pretend to bang her.
I know. That would be very weird. You know, I had to kiss Matthew in a movie.
Wow.
After the show ended.
Oh,
so I
my
had known him
goodness.
for many years.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, this is so weird. And he was like, no, it isn't. And I was like, all right, Matthew. Not weird at all. Okay.
Yeah,
But
crazy.
We didn't have to have sex, thank God. Because I don't know how I would have gotten through it.
Yeah, I would. That would be weird,
Right?
To kiss Matthew
It's
or
totally
Sarah. Yeah, it would be. But
Yeah.
Matthew's got that thing. Like the couple of times I've seen Matthew nervous because I have directed him.
Yeah.
It's weird to see Matthew because Matthew has lovely blood pressure maintenance. Like he knows how to in his work be very still
That's
and
true.
very calm.
That's true.
It's
It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It can intimidate the
It
other
is.
person.
Yes. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I'm like trying to juggle kittens.
Right, me too.
You know, and Matthew's like, why don't you just sit here and we'll do the scene? You know? Yeah.
Yes. It's like that.
Totally.
Okay,
totally.
we got off on a Matthew tangent,
yeah,
which is
good.
rare
Yeah.
because almost no one has Matthew stories.
Oh my goodness,
So
I
I
have good
appreciate
Matthew
that.
stories.
Oh, I know.
You're gonna have to. You should get Matthew on this podcast.
I don't think he'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I see him, I'm just like, Matthew. And he's like, oh God, here she comes.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
be awesome. Because
Yeah.
I love to hear the memories of the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I wanted to do the podcast is because everyone was in such different places, coming from such different worlds. I mean, even Cynthia and Sarah, who had worked together, known each other their whole lives
Yeah.
almost, still very different experiences. And then we all came together in this kind of crazy thing that just formed a new...
And everybody has, what do they call it? You know, esprit d'escalier, which is the French expression for it's spirit of the staircase. The thing you, like if you and I are in a big fight and on my way home, what I should have said to her was, you know, you remember the thing. So you have this odd 2020 hindsight with the show, like you always thought or somehow knew that it could be what it has become. And no, not at all.
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
It's true. No, who could have dreamt this?
Okay, I know this is you interview, but
No,
when
go
you
for it.
signed on, were you like gung-ho?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
I'm the
script was
most
so good.
gung-ho.
Yeah.
I'm the most gung-ho still to this day.
Well, that's fantastic. That's really
But in the
great.
beginning, because I was in LA, right? But I had been an out-of-work actor here right after, because I went to Rutgers
Right?
with Bill Esper and everybody. So,
yeah,
you know,
brilliant Bill Esper.
I know,
Yeah.
incredible. And I moved here like everybody did, and we were poor, and you know, you
Yeah.
waitressed and you auditioned and whatnot, right? Which is hard to be poor here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Very hard.
And then I went out to Berkeley. I did a play, and it was pilot season. My agent said, come down to LA on Mondays because there's so many parts you could play because I was still playing pretty young at that point. And I was young, and I was playing even younger.
Do you
So
know what play you were doing, if you don't mind me asking?
I was doing, oh my God. I'm not going to remember.
Were you at Berkeley Rep?
Yes.
That's where I was when I couldn't do your podcast. I was doing
No
a
way.
production of Uncle Vanya with Hugh Bonneville at Berkeley Rep.
Hugh Bonneville,
The
incredible.
great Hugh Bonneville. Yeah, brilliant.
The speed of light.
Oh yeah, I feel like I know that play, and if you gave
it's
me
been
more
done a
time,
lot. It's
I would
done-
know
it's
who
been done-
wrote it.
Right. No,
Like,
it's a great playwright who I think went to Rutgers.
Yeah,
Oh
damn.
my God, we have to look this up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was there, which was incredible. It's a
Yep.
special, special place. I love Berkeley Rep.
Brilliant theater.
Much. It was
Brilliant.
great. It was great. But I went down to LA. It was sunny. I auditioned for sitcoms. I was like, this seems an easier life than New York City as a poor person, right?
Yeah. There's more work, yeah.
More work then, and now
More-
it's totally
yeah,
flipped,
totally
which is
flipped.
so sad. But what can you do? So I ended up moving to LA, and then eventually, a few years later, I mean, I don't remember how many, but a lot of auditions later, got Melrose. Then Darren sent me the script, and I was like, New York City,
Yeah.
like walking the streets,
Wow.
4 lead characters that are women,
Yeah.
unheard of.
Yeah.
HBO, confused,
Right.
had the boxing, but
Right.
hey.
Yeah, no other show. Pre-Sopranos,
Right.
you were it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There
I
had,
was-
been a couple of those Dream On.
And also Larry Sanders.
Yes, of
which
course.
was obviously, but that's what I thought we would be. A small cult, like very industry, loved show. Yeah. And which has lived on, of course, because it's so great, right?
It's still that, what you just described. It's also just a global phenomenon as well. Yeah.
Exactly, which is a weird, it's a very weird and wonderful thing that happened. But in my gut, I felt the potential. I never could have dreamt 2 movies and another show. There is no precedent to that. So that wouldn't have come. But to me, I felt, yes, it's very special. And I will do whatever I have to do to be on that show with those women. And then once they told me Sarah, because when Darren first sent it to me to read for Carrie, and the way she was on the page was much more like Candace's persona.
Right.
And I couldn't pull that off. Smoking and swearing and, the it girl, I was like, that. People are going to laugh at me. Yeah. Right. So I was like, Darren, please don't make me audition for that. I need to beat this other one who's kind of in the side over here. Yep. That's me. Yep. And, thank God he listened. And you
really recognize I've got to think, I relate to this part. That's incredible because it's like all of you were born to play those parts,
I know. We're so lucky that we found it.
I do remember in the early days of casting, I remember, so Sarah and I certainly were hanging out enough to where she would talk to me about people that she was interested in for. I think it was probably Samantha, because I think Cynthia was in early on.
Cynthia was in, but she didn't feel she was in. Like they kept her dangling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember at one point they were talking about hiring like a stand-up comic or whatever for Miranda. Like they didn't know what to do,
Yeah. And yet now that I'm really thinking about it, your brilliant casting director, Jennifer McNamara.
Yes, but I don't think we had her for the pilot. I think we had Carrie Barton.
Carrie Barton.
Yeah,
Carrie,
and then we
of
got
course.
Jennifer when the show started.
Right.
Who's so great.
And Jennifer's assistant, I think, on that first season was my old college friend, Camille Hickman.
Yes!
Is her name. And Camille now works at Lincoln Center, and she's one of the great casting directors in New York. And she and I had been best buddies at Fordham University, where I had gone some 10 years before Sex and the City. And she would talk to me about this show. It's so exciting and it's so weird and odd. I don't know if anybody's going to see it. And I also remember very vividly, Camille had a small part as one of the talking heads.
Yes!
Because did you do talking heads through the whole first season?
Yes. And Sarah Jessica just looks at the camera in the last episode I watched, which is in the second season.
I don't
remember.
And
she hated it.
Oh, yeah.
She hated it so much.
Yeah.
But she looks at the camera and then she makes a face, which I think was about having to talk to the camera.
Of course. I'm sure you probably talked about it on the show. When was that decision made? Like, we don't need to do this anymore.
I feel like it was an ongoing thing. Michael Patrick hated.
Oh, he did.
The talking to the camera. Melfi hated the people on the street.
Sidebar, John Melfi, who went to Fordham with me and Camille. So I knew Melfi some 10, 12 years.
You're
Melfi
kidding.
and I have known each other 40-something years.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah,
Incredible.
crazy, yes.
Melfi is the unsung hero of our whole entire
goodness,
world. I told him in Paris that he's got to come on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He looked a little scared because I think he likes his secrets to remain off camera.
Nobody knows more stories and knows where more bodies are buried than John Melfi.
I know. So, that's why I've got to get him in that chair.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Right? I know. I got to loosen him up and get him in the chair.
Totally.
But he would tell everything about everything, which would be great. But when he came, he said his secret mission was to get rid of the talking heads. And Sarah Jessica's very open mission was to get rid of talking to the camera. Because I remember in the pilot, her saying, do I have to talk to the camera? It's so strange to break the fourth wall. I'm in this scene. And she's not wrong. I mean, it's a very weird thing as an actor to do. And then what she told me when she came on was that also she had been worried about Ferris Bueller, which I had never thought of.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So here, of course, is this like, her husband's,
this
iconic film that he'd done where he so brilliantly talks to the camera.
Nobody
pretty
ever
much
did it
the
better.
whole time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She felt like she was never going to live up to that, which is so adorable, which
That's
I didn't
really
know.
Interesting.
Yeah, but when I was sitting there, what I remember is thinking that I had never seen an actress be able to speak so clearly about what they wanted to do and what they didn't want to do without being angry or histrionic or whatever, just like very clearly articulating why it was hard for her, why she felt like she wasn't doing it well, how she felt like it was better to stay with us in the scene. And I was like, yes, I agree with her. Not that anyone cares what I think over here, but I was like, that's well put. That's well put. But it took her, I mean, she's still doing it in season second season, which I didn't even realize.
That's amazing. I did not know it went on that long. And frankly, I don't remember her doing it. I remember more the side people doing it than the
which was
four
kind
of
of interesting. And I think trying to be almost like an anthology or like, relating to the fact that all kind of people are having all kinds of relationship things that you don't know about, right? Like the people on the street, this one's going to tell you something surprising. That one's going to tell you something surprising. I get the idea of it, but it was taking story time away from the bigger stories.
Yeah, you have 25 minutes to pack 4 stories in.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of my partner, Jeff, he's a comedy writer, wrote Modern Family for all 11 years. And he was like, the hardest thing, there's 11 characters on that show, and they have 22 minutes. And that makes me think about writers like Michael Patrick and all the great writers. Jenny Bix ran The Big C. Yeah. So many great writers who've come into your world, and how difficult it is to pull that off for 4, and now however many you have, 5 extraordinary characters. And everybody's got to have a story, and everybody needs their time.
It's true. And I mean, I don't want to spend much time on this, but sometimes when you see people's criticism, you're like, oh, do they know how hard it is?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know
no,
what I
they
mean?
don't. Yeah.
No.
They don't. And, I think back to that first season, because I think we were recently overseas, and sometimes, a show will be on like older versions of shows. Yeah. And I watched a few episodes, and this was long before you and I talked about doing this, but what I remember when I was watching is like, wow, not only was it good, it got more sophisticated.
Definitely.
It got more maybe clever. It was always super smart. But before it had flash, it had such warmth. Yeah. It had such warmth. I mean, it's the reason why it goes on. It's because it's a love story. It's a love story. And it had a confidence about that love from the very get-go.
You're so right.
Even though the show evolved, I mean, in the same way any great writing would evolve, but even though it took a while to figure out, we don't need the talking heads, you guys knew who you were.
It's true. That's what I'm so surprised about when I watched the first season.
Was the first season nerve-wracking, or were you more nervous when it became so successful? Because sometimes, it's scarier when there's a lot of responsibility. Like, we're let's not blow this.
Right.
Right.
I think for me, because there's a whole long story I'm not going to bore you with, because all of our listeners have heard it in my first episode of the podcast. I signed, in my mind, Sarah Jessica did not sign a big pilot deal, which I didn't know about. And it's good that I didn't know about, because I would have been super nervous that she wasn't sewed up for like 7 years, right? But I did sign one. But then during the pilot, which we were over budget, it was $2.5 million, which back then was a lot of money for the pilot.
Of money,
exactly. Yeah. They were trying to cut costs, and they tried to get me to sign a new contract that would revoke my previous contract and make me a series recurring for $5,000 an episode.
Oh my God.
I know. Thank you, Hickey.
They tried to do this while you were shooting? Well, that's awful.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, what it suggests is that you don't have the
that I'm not
you're
good
not
enough.
Seeing them trying to cut corners. You're like, wait a minute. Yeah.
I know. So I knew this, but I didn't tell anybody.
Damn executives. Yeah.
I know. And no one will take responsibility for it.
Oh. Somebody knew.
Somebody knew. I think those people aren't with us anymore.
Yeah, maybe
but
not.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten to the absolute bottom of it, but it's been very therapeutic for me to talk about it, because I didn't ever realize that I never told Sarah. I never told Cynthia. I never talked about it except to my team, because what I did was this line producer knocked on my door, just handed me this paper and said, you need to sign this. And I was like, oh, what's this? And I read it. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And I called my lawyer, who's still my lawyer all these many years later. And he said, don't sign the paper, take it home, and tell them that you forgot.
Brilliant. Love this lawyer.
Every day, I know, Jason Sloan, incredible.
Give me his name and number at the end of the episode. He named his
daughter Charlotte.
I
love him as well for that, though he says it's not because of me, but whatever. Yeah. Still love it.
Take it.
So every day, they would knock. And every day, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. And, I'm a good girl, Hickey, so it took a lot for me. Absolutely. That's how badly I wanted to stay on that show as a series regular.
I have to say, it's not an un-Charlotte storyline.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
that's a story Michael would write for her.
Totally. It's so like her.
And she'd be crafty, but it would seem like it was under the guise of like, oh, I'm just a,
Right. I can do that. I can actually do that in life. It's kind of amazing.
That's amazing.
But what happened to me and what I saw when I looked back at the first season was that inside I had the anxiety of not being good enough.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah.
And it did work with Charlotte in a lot of ways. And also Michael told me when he came on, he thought, oh, I don't know how to write for that character because I was the one who wanted to get married, right? And so it took him a while to understand me enough and the character enough.
Right.
And then Jenny came and she knew how to write me, which was great because she grew up on the Upper East Side. It was perfect, right?
Brilliant.
So the pieces come and you can see that in my performance. You can see it in the writing for sure. But also like when I look at myself, there's some episodes where I'm like, I am really literally just trying to walk properly with them, you know?
Wow, yeah. The things you see
goal,
that nobody else does.
Like I'm just trying to walk in those heels, in those outfits,
that's my
and
only
look like
objective
I fit in.
is not fall down and look like I belong here.
Back in LA.
Yeah. But you know, I've talked to, and I'm sure Sarah Jessica would has probably talked about this with you on this podcast, but like every season you guys start, every movie, I will talk to her in the first 4 days, and she'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't, I feel so, I don't know how to do this, and I'm not good at this. And like that never goes away.
It's true.
No matter how iconic you guys are.
It's true.
You never lose that. And we shouldn't.
Of course.
That's the thing that keeps us alive.
Wanting to act too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why else would you want to do such a crazy thing if it didn't bring all the feelings?
Absolutely.
And challenge us.
And totally challenge.
And that's what we love.
Yeah. And there's no sense of security that's born out of this kind of success. In fact, sometimes the very opposite, as we talked about, can happen. It can make you a little more kind of.
That's true. For me, because I started out at the crazy place of like, are they going to keep me or not? It did just get better.
And you did that first season, and then were you sort of like you?
Well, then I had to wait and see if they were going to fire me or not.
I'm sorry, I lost that. I probably interrupted you. You really, even when that first season was over, how many episodes?
13.
Yeah, you were like,
didn't know.
Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I won't.
Exactly.
Holy crap!
I know,
well,
and I didn't tell any of them. Which is crazy to me that I didn't tell them. Do you know what I mean? But I think that if I thought that if they knew, they'd be like, oh yeah, maybe you're not going to, which of course they wouldn't have. But like, I just didn't have the security in it all yet, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So I was just on this like, inside.
You didn't know if it was coming back, much less, it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we didn't know anything. We didn't know anything. Right. So it was all good. And then they were like, yes, we do need her. And I was like, thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Was it a rating success its first season?
You know what? No one ever spoke about the ratings.
Yeah, those metrics are still, to this day, Netflix, they won't tell you what the numbers are.
No, I know, right. But I mean, for me, I'd come from network where like Monday morning you went in and everyone was like, 5.8, 10 point, whatever. No one cared. I'd be like, does anyone know if anyone's watching it? They didn't care. You know what they cared about? They cared about press.
Yep.
They wanted press hits. Like we worked hard in the beginning. We talked to anyone and everyone who would talk to us. It was the traditional press back then, right? We didn't have all the things we have now.
Yep.
And they cared about awards, which took us a while to get there, but we did.
Yep.
But that was what made people want to pay because you had to pay so much for HBO, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just how many eyeballs. It was more about the kind of like cachet.
Yeah.
So lucky for us because it did take a while to build.
And that's never gone away because it's a show about, about the people in New York City and the way they dress, all of you. And so that's a big part of the show. The press is a very big part of the show.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And thank God they still write about us.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Well, as well they should. You mentioned those big hats in that first season. I wonder if they were as big as that hat that Sarah has on.
Nothing is as big as that hat.
That thing is, I'm sure people are probably talking about that thing.
Oh, everywhere.
Is it
Do you
hat?
not see it?
Is it an actual hat? Or was it just a blanket?
No, it was designed by a designer.
It's a great hat. It was a great hat, by the way.
It's beyond. She has the most incredible knack for dressing of any individual I've ever seen. And obviously she does not dress like Carrie, which I think is a big misconception. But her sense of how and what and when, and like it's like magic watching it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's really amazing. I directed Sarah Jessica and Matthew in this Broadway revival of Plaza
Oh
Suite.
my God, yes,
yeah,
of course.
yeah, and I'm just bringing up all of my
I
credits.
love it. Do it.
But it was just amazing watching them work together.
They were so good.
Yeah, how extraordinarily different they are as performers and people.
Yeah.
And what kind of chemistry that produces. But I just wanted to bring it up because the legendary costume designer Jane Greenwood did the clothes, and she had done Sylvia with
yes, of
Sarah,
course.
many things with her and Matthew. And the way I went to her costume fittings, and they're so great because she's got such an unbelievable, uncanny sense of lines and
Everything.
the cut of things. And
Yes.
and Jane, who knows so much more than Sarah, like it was a real collaboration.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the way it was with Pat and this
Yeah.
brilliant new person. Yeah. It's really.
Yeah, Molly's not actually new. She's been here since
Molly's
the beginning.
was
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Pat.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons why she's doing such a great job is because
Yeah.
she has a history with the show.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
we trust her so much.
Yeah.
But Molly's also really into the details. Like the two of them can just go down the rabbit hole of like how something was woven or whatever. It's,
Wow.
it's very,
Yeah.
it's
Do
very
you
cool.
spend a lot of time in wardrobe fittings before each season?
Oh yeah, we all do. I mean, there's
Of
a
course you
lead
do.
up. Yeah, there's a lead up like prep, but then also during the, it's
never
a
ends.
very big part of it. And I used to kind of kick and scream, and now I'm like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I surrender. I love
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
we're so spoiled.
It's
we're
such
so
a
spoiled.
It's as you said earlier, like, I might have thought it could or could not be a hit, but never in a million years would I have imagined what did happen because it's unprecedented.
Exactly.
Because it's never happened.
There's no
Yeah.
model for us. And that's
No.
partly what I love as well. And people can feel all different ways about the first movie, the second movie, the new show, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because to me, we are just creating and creating and creating.
Yeah,
and I know
absolutely.
that we're creating from such a sense of love
Yeah, absolutely.
and respect for each other, and the fact that we love to be together and to make a show that people can relate to. And, our eye has never been on like the big success models or whatever. It's been on just making a story that we love.
Absolutely. And that you did it on this little wild west furthest place in the frontier HBO
Yeah.
that then became HBO
Yeah.
that we know today. And then whoever the smart people were who said, yeah, let's sell this into syndication. Because one of the things being my age and being young-ish when it all started, Sarah's age,
Yeah.
that it would be generational. That
Incredible.
It's
Yeah.
Wicked is doing that now.
Yeah.
Wicked is a show that young women went to see when they were 12 years old, 20 years ago, and now they're taking their daughters to see
It's
it.
incredible.
And this
Yeah.
show, which was so blue, where we started, which was so R-rated,
Right.
has become this thing that people have passed down to their children and said, "Watch this. This is New
crazy.
York City. This is friendship.
Right.
This is yeah."
Right. I know. It's incredible.
It's really
well,
something.
I just want to say, I'm so happy that you're a small but brilliant part of it.
Well, wait a minute. I was naked in the show, so let's not use the word small. Let's say
and you
that
looked
you are a
mighty
very
fine. You looked mighty
It was all
fine.
from behind.
Mighty fine. But also, wouldn't it be incredible if we could bring Catholic Guy back?
Oh, my God.
Like, where's Catholic Guy?
I really do. Every now and then I've said to Michael Patrick, like, not even about me, like, it would be nice to see a couple more of the old timers back.
And like, what happened to them? Because they're such vivid characters.
Who was the brilliant? I'm sorry, I wish I knew his name because I'm such a big fan of his. The guy who played Scooter in the first season.
Skipper.
Skipper.
What is that guy's name? We never, I don't know where he is.
And
He's very good.
Oh, he was so,
very
and so
good.
unique and odd.
It's like a puppy. It's like a little puppy,
But
and
that
Miranda's
was
just mean to him.
Genius casting all
I
through
agree.
it.
Ben Weber.
Ben Weber.
Yeah.
But when you mentioned Kyle, brilliant Kyle,
Oh,
because you and Evan are so brilliant together, I almost feel like you've been together forever, but no.
Well, look, we've been together a long time.
A long time. Yeah. A long time.
But there was Kyle before him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredibly vivid and wonderful as well. Just very, very different.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been so incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
But before that, there were so many guys. Charlotte had so many guys.
You're
Doing
not,
crazy things.
Yeah. And we're not going to see Kyle show up at the end of this season. You'll never tell.
I don't know. But we've discussed some things. But this is the thing. Harry and Charlotte are the last couple standing.
Yeah.
So
good.
I don't know that we want to mess with that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
they so know each other. That's what I love about watching them. They people who've been together at the you may hate each other at times. You may bore the shit out of each other, but you know the other person for all warts and all.
Yes.
And that's what's great about the writing for those two characters. They really look at each other and they see each other.
I agree. Hickey, I knew it would be incredible.
Was it okay?
Oh my God, incredible. This is the Catching Up with Friends. You delivered and then some.
It's an honor, a real thrill and an honor to be here, to have known you and admired you for so many years now. And that it's still going on.
I know, it's incredible. And we're just so happy that you're with us.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Love to see you always.
Thank
let's
you.
get Catholic Guy back.
Yeah,
but just hang out with us, Hickey. That's what we want.
I've been doing my squats. I was at the gym doing my squats today.
Fantastic.
So the butt is still kind of...
Yeah, I'm sure the butt is perfection, okay?
Nobody's seeing that.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, babe.